So today I want to talk about a subject that might be a little bit tough for some people to talk about, and that is bipolar disorder. Um, I was always told that bipolar disorder was something that once you have it, it's kind of untreatable, like in the way that you just manage it for the rest of your life. And I never thought too much about it in that regards because I was just drugged once I was diagnosed when I was a young teenager. And this went on for about 20 years. Now, I decided that I did not want to have a family while A, not being mentally my best, B, being on drugs and having the side effects and all the negative things pass on to my children, and C, I was just sick and tired of feeling not in control of my life and myself. I was tired of having things implode all the time and just feeling rotten, like mania. It's so scattered, and people think, oh, it's a lot of fun because you have a lot of energy and everything like that, but it's short-lived. And even if it goes on for a long period of time, you still have that burnout after. You still have that drop. You still have the depression, and it is horrible. Beyond horrible. And not everybody gets it, but I also had what they would call mixed episodes, where my mood would actually be up and down all over the place. You couldn't tell if I was sane, happy, sad at the moment. It was everything all at once. Like my entire nervous system was exploding, and it felt like that. I felt physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, you name it. It was horrible all at once. So where am I going with all of this? I guess what I'm trying to say is you can heal bipolar disorder completely. And a lot of people disagree with this. And so this is the part where I was stunned, completely stunned. After I completely healed my bipolar disorder, and throughout this journey, like in the beginning, I went to see a psychiatrist, psychologist, and I was like, okay, I want to come off of this medication. I don't want to be on it anymore. And they're like, I don't think that's a good idea. Maybe let's assess you and see where you are. And they're like, I think maybe you should just go on to this other medication. It has fewer side effects, especially, like, but I want to get pregnant and have children. And they're like, well, it has fewer side effects. I'm like, fewer is not good enough. Plus, you actually don't do drug testing on pregnant women and the long-term effects on children at all. Think about that. There are no studies done on pregnant women and the long-term effects on their babies for these kinds of psychiatric drugs. And I was on lithium for like 16 years. It was terrible. And so anyway, I wanted to completely be off of these drugs. And during this time, I was studying holistic therapy. And with all the different things of herbal medicine that I was learning, I was confident that what I could apply would alleviate my symptoms. I did not know in the moment that the symptoms would go away more and more and more and more to the point where they just never came back. Healing actually took place. Completely, 100% healed. Since then, I've learned a lot more to help with, the I don't want to say long-term effects of dealing with a mental illness for that long, but having a mental illness crisis for that long has an effect on your nervous system and your emotions and memories, and it's pretty rough. Looking back and reflecting on some of the things that you go through and some of the things that you put other people through, it's pretty serious stuff. It's not fun, and there's a lot to work through there. But I guess what I'm getting at before was that the doctors did not want me to come off the medication at all. They were not down with it, And when I actually brought the things that I was using, the tinctures and whatnot, I brought it to my appointment and I showed them. And they just kind of shook their head out like, no, that's not safe. You can't use that. I'm like, it's safe enough for children. What do you mean it's not safe? I'm like, oh, here's the thing. I've already been taking it with my medication. And they're like, oh no, it's terrible. And I'm like, no, I studied how this interacts with my body. They work on completely different places. Like, there's no interaction. There's no, anyway, totally safe. And so I had been already taking this holistic, natural herbal medicine for months before titrating off of the medication that I was on. And as I came off medication, I just amped up more with the natural medication the natural medicine that I was taking. And I played around with it. I noticed when any kind of symptoms arose, I had always had something in place that corresponded with what I was feeling. And it was an incredible journey to try out all these different medicines and realize that a lot of these were just energetic imbalances. And a lot of the energetic imbalances came from different foods that I was eating as well. There was a metabolic dysfunction, it felt like. And so, either way, long story short, I guess you could say, I completely healed from bipolar disorder. So, when I finished all of this, and I finished my schooling, and I started my business, and I was so excited to share all this stuff with the world, I started thinking to myself, well, like, I was planning on just helping people with standard health issues, and just, optimizing their health and getting, feeling really great. But then I started thinking to myself, this is kind of big. This is something that needs to be shared with the world. This is something that people really, really do need help with. So I thought I'd better start sharing the fact that you can heal bipolar disorder with people all over the world. So I take my business online. I'm so excited. And I start sharing a little bit of the story, and I start sharing a little bit of what I'm doing. And you would think the response would have been more excited. Honestly, if somebody had come to me when I was in my 20s and been like, hey, did you know that you can actually heal bipolar disorder and you can get better and have like even energy and feel really great and not implode your life over and over and not scare your family? I'd be like, seriously? That's great. I don't want to take these shitty drugs for the rest of my life. They cause horrible side effects and deteriorate my body and shorten my lifespan. So, anyway, I get on there, I'm chatting with people, and the response was not good. People were like, how dare you? That's dangerous. You can't heal from bipolar disorder. Shouldn't tell people to not take their medicine, which I was not going around telling people stop taking your medicine. I was saying there's better ways, and you can heal from it so that you don't need to take this harmful medication for the rest of your life. And there was a lot of pushback. And I tried to figure this out. I'm like, why on earth would somebody want a disorder for the rest of their life? And so some of the things people were saying was that they attributed their talents to the disorder, like artistic skills, musical skills, the energy that they would have when they're manic. And I'm like, that's not bipolar disorder. It's not. Artistic skills, I know a lot of documentaries and movies and stuff tried to link those two things together by saying, people that are particularly creative and artistic are the ones prone to bipolar disorder, and they kind of tried to link them together so that people feel like, oh, I have bipolar disorder. But it's a gift, it's a gift that makes me more connected to spirituality. It's a gift that makes me more artistic. It's a gift that makes me more musical. Here's the thing. I'm incredibly musical, very talented. I'm a very talented artist as well. None of that went away when I healed my bipolar disorder. In fact, I have more usable energy now because the mania would just, your focus is crap. Like when you're dealing with mania, it's not good. Now I can actually focus. I'm reading a book every few days, every week at least. And I can actually focus and retain the information. My cognitive function has gone through the roof. My memory is fantastic. My sleep is amazing. All of these things are possible for you. And you do not have to give up your talents at all. I'm curious to know from you, if somebody came to you and you're someone dealing with mental illness and they said, hey, you know, you can actually heal from this, would you? Would you want to? I actually got kicked out of an Instagram page that was basically all about bipolar disorder, and I think it was because their livelihood felt threatened because they had built their business around bipolar disorder being something permanent. And if you take away the permanence of it, then people might feel there's a responsibility that they have to get better and they have to put in that effort to actually recover, and there's no more excuses. I don't want it to be like that. Everybody's free to do whatever they want. Everybody is free to live however they want. I wanted to get better because I was tired of scaring my family. I was tired of scaring myself. I was tired of the lows. I was tired of not achieving my goals and dreams the way I wanted to. I had so many things that I wanted to do, and so many projects would get started and never finished because the inspiration and everything would take hold when I would feel manic, and then when that would just like fizzle off and I'd go into a depressive state, those things, the inspiration would die with that. It was so sad, you know. There were so many things that I wanted to do and could have done had I just had steady passion, inspiration, energy, connectedness, all these things that I have now. And now my life is a million times better. And you can have that too. It's wild to think about. I can't imagine my life right now if I still was dealing with that disorder. What I would be like in front of my daughter, displaying those kinds of behaviors. Like, kids learn from watching us. They listen to us and they watch us. They don't learn by what we tell them to do. They literally mimic everything we say and do in front of them. So, if you feel out of control, it's time to take back that control. If you feel like you're tired of taking drugs and medication and they take away from who you are, or maybe you've never even found out who you really could be because you've been dealing with this for so long, now is a really great time to figure that out. I don't want anybody to feel all threatened like you have to get better, but I do want you to know that you absolutely can. Doctors don't tell you that you can. They don't want you to. It's not lucrative for them for you to get better. Did you know that the term bipolar disorder was actually came up by drug companies? Like, drug companies actually get together with the doctors and they throw conventions and they figure out ways to market new disease and drugs. It used to just be called manic depressive disorder. And then they rebranded it bipolar disorder and stuck a permanent sticker on it. Can't get rid of that. And then they fund a whole bunch of studies to try to prove that it's a genetic disorder, that you can't get rid of it because of genetics. But we also know that thanks to scientific proving that genetic diseases can also be reversed. So even if they do magically somehow locate some kind of genetic marker that says, oh, this is bipolar disorder, doesn't matter. Genetic disorders and diseases are reversible. So, yay, you can totally cure bipolar disorder, and amongst a lot, like a sea of other mental illnesses as well. So let's be clear about that. This is just one little tip on an iceberg of illnesses, disorders, and diseases that absolutely 100% can be reversed, You can feel amazing. You can have optimal energy. You can still be inspired. You can have all your talents. They don't go away. You are who you are. In fact, you're more of who you are when you take away the depression and the mania and all of those things that go with it. It's not necessary to take with you to be who you are and to be amazing. In fact, I'm willing to say that a lot of people with bipolar disorder were meant to be some of the most incredible people on this planet, but you've been suppressed in some way, emotionally suppressed in some way, and that has caused a split in your energy, and you can mend that. It can be done.